Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today I'll show you the game played by Titas and Jason. And the game starts with pawn to c4, e6, knight f3, d5. And after this, the white play e3, preventing the pawn to move forward. And also the bishop will protect the pawn at c4. Knight f6 was played, then knight c3 was played, and then the knight b to d7 and b3 was played. And after this, bishop to d6, and this is the first 5 move. Here we have both position is equal, and then the game continue with the bishop to b2 and black castling, then queen to c2 and c6 was played, then the rook to g1, and here the white have the idea of using the rook to direct attack the king at the g5. After this, the black play e5, and the pawn is preparing to move to e4 and attack the knight, and then the bishop can capture the pawn at h2. So the pawn c capture d5, then c takes d5, and then the knight to b5 attacking the bishop, and now the bishop move to bishop b8 and maintaining the diagonal of b8 to h2. And this is the first 10 move, and you can see that not much changes, and the white is only a slightly better in this position. After this, the white continue to play rook to c1 and double up the pieces to attack the bishop, and also you have the rook to c7 and attack the rook. Then e4 was played to attack the knight, and now the knight f to d4 going to the center of the square, and now the bishop captured the pawn at h2 and attacking the rook, and after this the rook to h1 and attack back the bishop. And now after this, the black do not want to move away the bishop, instead divert the knight and to g4 and protecting the bishop, and you have the idea of the knight capture the f2 pawn. So after this move, the white play knight to c7 and attack the rook, and after this the rook move to b8, and now the knight capture the pawn at d5, and here strongly threatening knight f5 and white h and h, and here you have the knight to f5, and we can have knight to e7 and check the king and attacking the bishop. So we have a multiple attack, and after this the queen can capture also, and here will be the winning in the action. Position the knight d to e5, and here the knight, we have the idea of go to d3 and check the king. You also have the idea of go to f3 and check the king as well. And here also we move, allow the bishop to active and protect the square knight to f5. The bishop will protect the square at f5. So the knight is not able to move out, and at the same time the queen is also attacking the knight at d5. So this single move we have many activity for the black, and after this queen to c5 protecting the knight, then rook to e8 and keep on the attack. And now the black is aiming to use the knight to capture the pawn at f2. So after this, g3 was played with the idea of next to attack the knight and capture the bishop and trapping the bishop. And after this position, if the black capture the pawn, for example, if the queen capture the pawn at a7, so bishop capture a7, and after capture the knight at d5, and if the queen capture the rook, then the knight d3 will check the king and fork the rook, and we will be winning back the rook. So if the bishop capture, then the bishop will capture the, and this is one of the tactics that the rook is not free pieces. And if back to this position, if the bishop move to a1, then you can just like capture this pawn, a sacrifice, and if the king to capture, then you have a queen to h4 and check the king. So after this sacrifice, the black is clearly winning in the game. So I will show you how the sacrifice can work. After this, the queen to h4 and check the king, and now the king has only one place to move, which is to e2, or you block with the pawn. So if you block with the pawn, then the queen will just capture and check again the king, and now the king need to move to e2, and after this you bring another bishop to the action and check the king, and basically the king will have no place to move. So after queen to f4 check, there is no escape for the king, and the only way is to prevent is use the knight, and after use the knight, you can just use the bishop to capture and checkmate. And here is a very beautiful sacrifice for the checkmate. So g3 was played in the actual game, and then the black continued to develop the bishop to e6 and attacking the knight. After this, the knight play knight to c7 and attack the rook, and then queen to f6 and again sacrifice the rook, and here in the actual game, the white capture the h2 pawn first. After the capture, then the knight capture again. Then the knight capture another rook. Knight takes e8 and attacking the queen. And now the rook capture again. So if this, you can see that the action will be between the bishop and the knight. And after this, bishop to e2 to prevent the knight to go to d3 or to f3. And now knight h to g4 with the idea of attacking the f2 pawn. And after this, the knight to d3 and check will win, and here this knight will be a royal fork check. So after this, the knight takes e6 with the idea of action, and after this action, the black is made in 5. And this move, the last move from the white, is a blunder, a mistake, because after this, black have a very strong attack. I give you a couple of seconds to figure out how the black continue to make the beautiful move and checkmate the white. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer, and for those who like to enjoy the show, here are the moves. In the actual game, after the knight capture the pawn, the brilliant move that the black play is the knight to d3 and check the king. And again, you can see that this is a royal fork, attacking the king and the queen and the rook together. And after this move, the white resign. And if the game to continue, the bishop takes d3. And now the queen will capture the pawn and check the king. And after this, again, the king has no place to move except to d1. Then here you have the pawn to capture the bishop. E takes d3, and now the pawn will prevent the king to move and escape to the c2 square. After this, the last move will be the queen can go to either f1 or g1 and checkmate the king, or you also can go to e2 and checkmate the king. So you have a 3 move for the queen to play. You also can play a queen to f3 and checkmate the king as well. So after this move, there is nothing that you can defend and block the queen from checkmate. And if the game to continue, the white can just delay the mate by playing a queen, f8, check the king, and after this, rook capture. And now any move from the white, knight takes a rook, then you can just checkmate the king. And with this, thank you.